How's it going, guys? It's Llyan with the letter R. For those who doesn't know me, I'm a second-year architecture student studying in lodssss. And in this video, we're going to react to one of the most well-known architect/YouTuber today. So if you've watched my first ever YouTube video about architecture, I mentioned there that I was really a fan of Kuya Llyan, Austria, and he's really one of the persons na nakatulong talaga sa akin na mag-take ng architecture. And if you're already an architecture student, I bet you already know about his architecture hacks. So, ngayon, magre-react tayo sa mga video niya na napanood ko years ago, and kung na-apply ko ba talaga to dito, or kung na-apply ko ba siya hanggang ngayon, and syempre mga additional na din kung makakatulong. Let's go!
How's it going, guys? Llyan here, and today I'll be teaching you guys some tips, tricks, and hacks as to how to make your architectural student life a little bit easier. Tip number 1, the paper scale technique. So basically what you need to have is a scale and a piece of paper. It could be scrap or...
Yeah, so if you're new to this channel, I also did a video on how the scale works.
A new paper, doesn't matter. What you are going to do is you determine the most used measurement that you used all throughout your plate. So for me, that is the measurement of the walls and the measurement of the columns. So
yung sinabi dito ni Kuya Llyan is yung madalas daw na ginagamit, of course, is walls and columns. And the reason why is, of course, kahit anong structure i-design natin, nagamit talaga tayo nito. Ang standard measurement kasi ng walls is 0.2 yung thickness niya, or 0.15 kapag interior wall. Pero yung 0.2 ginagamit din siya sa interior wall kapag bathrooms, ganun. Kasi nangangailangan ng mas makapal na walls for the bathroom. Pero I don't know, for some reasons, may mga school na iba-iba yung ginagamit sa bathroom. Pero sa amin, ang advisable is 0.2, lalo na kapag dun sa side na may fixture.
Take that measurement and then transfer that onto your piece of paper. So now that you have transferred that, you don't have to look at your scale all the time looking for the specific measurement of the walls and the columns. So this technique is
big brain. So ayan, actually napanood ko na to before, pero yung iba naaalala ko, yung iba hindi ko na maalala. So I think this trick is very helpful, especially in esquisse.
It saved me a bunch of time.
Yan, kung makikita natin, ang ginamit dito ni Kuya Llyan na column is square column. Pero kami, ang ginagamit namin is rectangular column, which is 0.3 by 0.2. Ayun. So, may iba't ibang klase din kasi ng column. This one is square column. There's also rectangular column, circular column, etc. Depending on the project.
Much of time, especially when I'm rushing, because I'm always rushing when I was in architecture school. I don't know why. Tip number 2. So tip number 2 is for those of you out there who are constantly mounting and dismounting your plates on and off your drafting table. Okay, so one thing I hate about dismounting and mounting my plates onto the drafting table is that the edges or the corners of your plate tend to rip, and then it's like fibery stuff come out of the edges because of the points where the scotch tape used to be. So the scotch tape constantly removes a bunch of paper.
May time sa school na nagmamadali talaga kami. Tapos biglang binuksan ng prof ko yung pintuan. Tapos sa sobrang madali ko, napunit ko yung plate ko. Esquisse siya. As in, punit.
From your plate, and then eventually, there's no more corner left on your plate. So what you do is you take a piece of tape and then cut it in half. After you've cut it in half, put it on the corner of your plate. So every time you mount and dismount your plates from the drafting table, you aren't ripping your paper. It's basically, it's tape on tape contact. So you're safe.
Ginagawa ko to dati, and I tried doing this one, especially nung nasa multimedia pa lang ako. Pero kasi ang problema, there are tapes that are not that sticky. So kapag maliit lang yung ginamit nyo na tape sa dulo, is natatanggal siya kaagad. And I don't know, for some reasons, hindi kasi ako sanay. And kapag hindi mo nakasanayan yung isang bagay na yun yung umpisa mong ginagawa, feeling ko mas bumabagal ako. Pero ang ginagawa ko naman, kumukuha ko ng tape mahaba, and then ilalagay ko muna siya sa isang surface, and then tatanggalin ko muna yung dikit niya. Make sure na hindi madumi yung surface na paglalagay lalagyan nyo, saka ko siya ilalagay sa paper ko so that hindi ganun ka-sticky pero nadikit pa din. Or paper tape na hindi masyadong sticky, and papatungan ko pa ulit ng another tape na sticky para yun yung nakadikit dun sa tape na hindi masyadong sticky. Hindi masyadong didikit yung tape sa paper ko, pero at the same time, sobrang madikit siya sa table kasi may mga tape nga na hindi sobrang dikit, and kapag syempre tinanggal nyo na yung dikit ng isa, yun talaga.
Number 3. So, have you ever drafted and then you look at your plate and magically there's some sort of smudge or dirt on your plate? That is probably caused by random rogue pencil dust. Pixies. To avoid that, I discovered this technique where you put a bunch of tape on the corners of your drafting instrument. So you get tape and then you get a piece of paper, or preferably thicker than paper like a cardboard, and then tape it onto the edges of your drafting tool. So what that does,
this technique will be advised by your pros most of the time, lalo na kapag sa drafting. Ito yung isa sa mga bagay na ituturo talaga sa architecture school, pero hindi ko din siya ginagawa kasi ihirapan ako, naduduling ako guys. Kasi kapag masyadong malayo yung, para ito, pag masyado siyang malayo, nagkakaroon ng gap sa gitna, diba? So, parang hindi ko masyadong makita kung saan na ba ako maglilinya, gano'n, naduduling talaga ako. So, yeah, the foot technique of the rulers is also for the ink, para hindi siya nagkakalat. Because kapag naka-technical pens tayo, especially yung legit na technical pen, yun talaga yung kumakalat, especially kapag tracing paper yung ginagamit natin. Kung makikita nyo, meron siyang angled yung side niya, and that is because of that. Pero sa video kasi ni Kuya Llyan, ang iniiwasan niya is yung mga black pieces that we get from our ruler. Ginagawa naman dito is lilinisan nyo muna yung ruler nyo. Pero yun nga, syempre kapag tuloy-tuloy yung gawain, hindi nga may iwasan. Most of the time naman nabubura din yung mga black.
Number 4. So this tip is for those of you guys who are always rushing. I know I was always rushing in college anyways. So when you're rushing, you really don't have time to look at your tech pen and check what type of line weight it is. So here's what you do. You get yourself some colored tape right here, and then mark each pen with the corresponding color. That way, every time you look at your pencil case, you already...
This is very helpful, pero hindi ko siya ginagawa dahil ang mahal ng tape. So, ayan, instead na bumili ako ng sobrang daming tape na iba't iba pang kulay, ang ginagawa ko na lang is kahit anong tape, especially paper tape nga, ayan. Tapos susulatan ko siya, kuwari 0.5. Tapos ididikit ko dito para kapag pag nasa pencil case ko siya, is makikita ko kaagad na 0.5. Because minsan, there's also a tendency na makakalimutan mo kung anong point ba yung kulay yellow, gano'n. So dito, makikita ko na kaagad na 0.5 kahit ang dumi niya na. Actually, kasi kapag nito, kapag unipin yung gamit nyo, sobrang liit lang nung nakasulat. So kapag sa Sakura Micro naman, medyo malaki yung text niya. So medyo okay lang. Pero as much as possible, lalagyan ko nga din talaga ng ganito.
Okay, tip number 5. So this tip is one of my most heavily guarded secrets. So here's what you need. You're going to need a ball of alcohol, preferably rubbing alcohol, then some cotton, and a printer. Okay, so here's what you do. You get the image that you are going to reproduce. Get it from Google or Wikipedia or whatever source you want. Okay, so now that you have got your image, bring it to Photoshop and then flip it, print it out. And then after you have printed it, lay it face down on your plate and then begin dabbing it on the back with alcohol. So what this is going to do is it's going to transfer the printer ink onto your plate, thus creating the illusion that you have watercolor rendered on your plate. The only thing that's left to do is to draw the outline.
I actually tried this one before nung nagmamadali na ako. Kasi sa architecture school, may mga bagay ka talaga na magagawa dahil sa sobrang pagmamadali mo and natatakot kang bumagsak. That's a fact. Nung ginawa ko naman to, naging problema, kung makikita niyo dito sa video ni Kuya Llyan, hindi masyadong nakikita yung mga specific details ng building or kuwari ng interior, ganun. Medyo doon tayo nahihirapan, diba? Yung mismong tura ng perspective. Actually, hindi lang. Kasi ako, mas okay ako sa rendering kaysa sa technical drawing. Siguro kapag nahihirapan kayo mag-rendering, ito yung technique. Nakakatakot din kasi itong itry. Siyempre, alcohol, diba? So, there's also a tendency na pag nabasa, medyo mangungulubot yung paper nyo unless makapal yung ginamit nyong paper.
Only use this forbidden technique when the time is tight and you really have no choice. But if you have a lot of time to do your plates, I suggest that you do it because painting and drawing is a lot of fun. So this is just a last resort. Use it wisely. Also, don't share this video to the teachers because they might discover that you did this and...
So, ang alternative na pwede nyong gawin dito is hindi naman talaga super duper hack. Kasi ito yung technique na ginagamit sa carbon paper. If you don't know what carbon paper is, ito yung ginagamit ng mga cashier na kapag pumirma sila, may pirma na din, pati yung baba ng papel na yun. So, that's carbon paper. Turo siya ng prof ko before sa multimedia. And also, this one is taught by one of my profs in architecture. So, hindi talaga siya super duper hack. So, ang gagawin nyo din is magpiprint din kayo. Ayan, Taj Mahal din yung pinrint ko para masaya. Actually, Taj Mahal is very famous because it's a perfect example of Mughal architecture, which is a combination of Persian, Indian, and Islamic. So, what you're going to do here is you need to get a pencil that is soft. Yeah. Like 6B, 7B, 8B. If you have no idea about the pencil grades, I also have a video about the pencil grades. Ayan. Gaganyanan nyo yung likod ng picture na pinrint nyo. So, it will act like a carbon paper. And then, basta damihan nyo lang guys. Make sure na mafi-fill up nyo yung part na may picture. So, after that, papataw nyo na siya dito. So, huwag kayo masyadong mag-worry if madudumihan siya. Hindi siya masyadong hahawa dun sa paper. And kung hahawa man, onti lang din. And that's workable naman with the eraser. Ititrace nyo lang etong part na to, kung ano yung mga details. Ayan. So, yeah, you just need to continue that until you finish all the details. And then, ayan. So, after nun, shading nyo na lang siya or i-render nyo na lang. So, yeah, that is one of the secret architecture hack na hindi na secret because sinabi ko na. Pero like Kuya Llyan said, huwag natin din ugaliin palagi. Lalo na kapag wala namang printer sa bahay. Hassle pa yun, diba? So, we must learn the hard way para basic na lang yung iba. Big brain.
The last tip of all is the most unusual technique that I have used. It's not really a drafting tip, but an overall architectural or engineering school technique. So this technique is called my all-in-one guitar bag technique. Pretty self-explanatory. What you have to do is just buy an electric guitar bag, or if you want a larger carrying capacity, buy an acoustic guitar bag.
And so although I also have a guitar bag, I am not doing this trick because ang awkward lang kasi kapag guitar bag yung dala ko and then my classmates would ask me, "Bo, ba't kami dalang gitara sa katutugtog, diba?" I also have a T-square and tube bag. I also made a video including this one. 2-in-1 na siya. Magkasama na yung T-square and yung tube. So, yun lang naman din yung palagi kong ginagamit. I don't know if this one is already invented when Kuya Llyan Austria did this video. Ayan, malalaban na yung laptop ko. Ayan, magkasama naman na siya. And most of the time, okay lang naman na ito na talaga yon. So, ayan. I also put a link kung saan kayo pwede makabili nito.
If you found this video interesting or...
So, I think that's all for this video. If you have comments, thoughts, suggestions, questions, leave it in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, it's your girl, Rian, with the letter R. That's all.
Don't fly, please.